Hello, this is Steve from Beaute's Leatherworks, and today's project is this pair of well-worn Alden Shell cordovan shoes. Now, at this stage of the project, I've already shampooed and gave the shoe a bath. I'll show you guys a video of how I do it. And it was in pretty bad shape, had a lot of water stains on the sides, and the creases were very deep. Now, not much you can do about the creases. I mean, you can try to straighten those out, but they'll always come back. Once you wear it, it's going to come back. Now, this is the semi-finished. Again, this particular one had a lot of black water damage on the sides. It's a lot better than what it was. It's not completed yet, obviously. But unfortunately, the taking care of the uppers, when you saturate the entire surface of the shoe, you have to let it dry thoroughly. So that took about a good week, I would say, for it to completely dry so we can move on to the next step, which is basically starting to work on the bottom of the shoes. And now it does go through some conditioning processes after it dries, because you don't want to leave it that whole time for the leather to dry. Even though shell cordovan is very tough and durable, it does need some moisturizers. All right, so let's get started, and I'll show you how to do the shampooing and the bath, and then we'll start working on the bottoms. All right, let's get started. All right, so we're going to give the shoe a bath. This is Lincoln Easy Cleaner. Last time I did this, a few of you guys wanted to know what I mix in it. A little bit of Luxe, some hand soap, 2 pumps will do. Now, this isn't really recommended for you guys to do at home, okay? Because these are shell cordovan shoes. Now, at this stage, these are pretty badly damaged. We're going to give it a bath. Now, I'm not sure what you guys are capable of doing at home, so that's why I don't really recommend this for you guys to do at home. Okay. Usually for calfskin, this works very well to get rid of those watermarks, the salt stains and the water stains. But this one is not calfskin. This is shell cordovan. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. See what it looks like after it dries. I know some people are cringing watching me do this, but you know what? It's all good. Stuff the inside a little bit. We're going to wrap this paper towel. Pat it down. And we're going to seal this in a plastic bag. Get all the air out of it. Simply tie it and let it sit. Okay, so we're going to let this sit for maybe about 2 days, 3 days. Okay, all right, let's continue. So we're also doing whatchamacallit, heel linings on these. It's all torn up in the back. You wore the hell out of these shoes. So we're going to do a Dainite sole and rubber heels. Oh, Dainite heels. We're going to get rid of all this. This is just this is just dead paper. Yep, you heard me. Well, fiberboard, compressed paper, whatever you want to call it. It's garbage. It's too bad. I mean, they're beautiful shoes. Most of the midsoles are paper also. Although I don't think this one is paper. This one's leather. Maybe on the Shell Cordovan line they upgraded to leather. Well, we're going to replace that with a rubber midsole. So there's got to be a better contact with the Dainite sole. Rubber to rubber rather than leather to rubber. Cool. There's the big shank. Alrighty then. So once the shank, and I'm going to take the cork off, replace the cork. We'll go ahead and pick the stitches. And glue the midsole on. Yeah, these are in pretty bad shape, man. The customer just wore the hell out of these shoes. Which is okay. I mean, you know, they're meant to be worn. They're shoes. There's a lot of guys who baby their shoes, which is okay. I mean, it's each his own. You need to take care of them, but not to neglect them like this. This is just... you let it go a little too far. I thought I had some pictures of it before I even shampooed and gave it a bath. But I looked for it on my camera and I couldn't find it to show you guys exactly what it looked like. It was pretty bad. I'll have to look again. Alright, she's done. Alright, let's continue. This right here, these are the threads that hold the soles on to the welt. Now the proper way is to remove all that one at a time. Now is this the fun part of the job? Not really, but it kind of gives you a chance to reflect on your life and think about what you're doing in life and what you're going to do and just kind of get it done. This year, my business has gotten a lot busier. This is the busiest year that I've had, and compared to, you know, previous years. I make a pretty good living. I'm content with that, right? But it seems like money's good, yes, but I love what I do. Obviously, that's very important. I mean, if I didn't like what I was doing, I wouldn't be doing it, you know? Again, that goes back to, you know, find something that you like. Find something that you love to do. And lately, about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, my employee walked out on me. One of my good employees who were with me for about 4 years now. There was an issue about a job that he messed up, and I was not happy at all. And I got a little annoyed. Then he got a little annoyed at me because I got a little annoyed. I'm like, really? Anyway, long story short, he left. Which is okay. No big deal. I mean, do I miss him? Of course. He was doing a lot of work, but a lot of the tedious work that is still work. Problem is that he wasn't doing what he should have been doing. Like, he didn't progress in his job. He just kind of stayed at the same spot, which in this field, in this business, experience is kind of basically, you know, the longer you're on a job, the more you learn and the more jobs you do. He just didn't do that. So he was kind of stuck on one level, and that was it. So now I'm a little backlogged with work. A little backlogged. So I think for November, here we are, end of November, I'm going to have to just kind of stop taking work in until I get caught up, because I need to get caught up, you know. Because you don't want to keep on promising to things, you know, things to people, and you're late with it. It's not good for business, and I know that. But I can only do so much until I find new employees. So sometimes I wet the welt because the stitches don't want to come out. If you wet it, it softens it up a little bit, and that usually comes out a little easier. Problem is that, you know, customers come in. I'm not talking about like mail order stuff, right? Just coming through the door, and they need things done, and I have a hard time saying no, you know. But I have to kind of say, you know what? I'm not saying no, but I just need you to give me more time because I got to catch up with this stuff. And as simple as that. I just, you know, if they can't wait, well, I don't know what to do. Can't grow 2 more arms. I wish I could. That'd be kind of cool, huh? Having 4 arms. We get a lot of work done that way. And extend the hours, like more than 24 hours. I always tell customers that, look, I got 2 arms and 24 hours in a day. Neither one of those 2 I can change. Believe me, if I could, I would. Believe me. Believe me. But I can't. Alright, so as you see, this takes a little bit of time, you know. But, you know, it's got to be done right, because you're putting another set of stitches on there, and you don't want to put 2 stitches. I mean, you could, don't get me wrong, anything's possible, but it's not good for the shoe. You know, we get shoes in sometimes that the previous repairer just kind of stitch over on top of it. Sometimes like 2-3 stitches on the welt. Man, those are a pain in the butt. You know, that's a little shortcut, you know, but you shouldn't be taking shortcuts when it comes to that, especially like on a good quality shoe. Never. Never. This seems to be stuck right here. This section there. We'll get them out, don't worry. Ain't nobody more stubborn than me. No, sir. Alright, let's continue. I guess I made a mistake on the timeline. I said we are at the end of November. Actually, we're end of October now, not end of November. Yeah, so we got to stop taking working for all of November. We're going to be shutting down for about a week anyway for Thanksgiving. So that gives me a couple of weeks just to catch up, you know? Okay, now, Dainites are a little tricky to do, okay? If it's not done right, it looks pretty terrible. You've got to be able to center this pattern, the studs on the bottom of the shoe, bottom of the sole, evenly. So, you know, you can easily have this off center, this pattern right here, and it just looks terrible. And I've done it in the past, and I have had to remove the sole because it just looked bad. It doesn't look good at all. You try to center the name as much as you can from right to left. Now this, you're just going to kind of using your, you know, eye measurements. Now, if you look here, there's more room here than it is here. So it's got to come over to the left just a little bit. That's why I've got the old sole I use as a template. And then what I'll do is I'll cut this a little bit wider than the mark that I made. That way, when I get to put the shoe on, you know, I'll have an equal distance on the sides. That way, I know it's exactly in the center, as best a center as it can get. So they're pretty tricky, but just a few times of doing it, you'll get the hang of it. You know, just use your old sole as a template. I think that works out very well. It gives you a general idea of what size the sole is and where you can cut it, where you can glue it back. But yeah, I've seen some nightmares, even from manufacturers. I mean, I just can't believe sometimes the manufacturers, patterns are so off, and then they even kind of stitch it right on the studs there like that, which is, you're not supposed to, right? But these soles are not a good candidate for every shape shoe, okay? You got to be careful. If the shoe is narrow, if it's like a European style narrow toe, it doesn't work very well. For example, here's a perfect example. Now, there's more room on this side than there is here. Okay, so when I get to stitch it, I'm going to have to see if I can kind of center that right next to that dot pattern and then get this a little closer. This side needs to be sanded down a little more so it could be more centered looking. Not the welt itself, just the sole, because I cut it a little bit wider there. So as you can see, the narrower the toe, the harder it is to add on there. But it can be done. It just gets just a little tricky, and a little bit of practice. You do a couple of them, you'll start getting used to how things should be. All right, let's continue. It's compressor time. Oh, I fixed the compressor, by the way. You know how I fixed it? I unplugged it. Well, it's not running anymore. Yep. I like myself in a better mood like this. Not the somber mood earlier. What was up with that? Yeah, you know, I'm not usually... I mean, I'm a pretty optimistic person. Usually I believe in things happen for a reason, and there's always a better opportunity waiting for me. You know? But you know, sometimes you get in these moods. It's okay. But I snap out of it. Doesn't last too long. It's normal. Yes, I am normal. I'm just like you guys. I sure am. Yeah, we'll turn the compressor on in a minute so you guys can hear the annoying compressor kicking on. Man, I miss my crickets. Where are they? Do crickets come out in the winter time? I gotta look that up. Well, it's not winter here, it's fall. But yeah, the weather is kind of cooling down. Voila! Alright, let's continue. Alright, we got our leather heel blocks. I'm using Masters all-purpose cement for those of you who are curious on what cement I like and I use. I like it. It works pretty good. Now what I do here is that I glue my heel base and the top lift together like that, and then sand the inside very smooth, and then put it on the shoe, balance the heel from this side. So while that's drying, we get to put the soles on. Now I've cut the edges a little bit, right? So when I go ahead and put this on here, it's pretty much in the center where I want it to be. And that's it. You know what time it is. Oh, I just finished a video of a restoration of a Louis Vuitton, like a drawstring tote bag or a bucket bag. I don't think it's a bucket bag. I did call it bucket bag in the video, but I think it's a more of a drawstring tote bag. Man, this was in bad shape. I mean, I can't wait to show it to you guys. I can't show it to you guys just yet because even though the project is done, the video is done, I haven't uploaded it yet because I've got to send a bag to the customer. She wants to do, well, I want her to do like when she opens the bag, you know, and give me her reaction. And once we do that, then I'll you know, take her video and put it with mine. Then I can upload it, because a lot of times you guys ask for reaction of customers, and I really can't get the reaction of the customer because it's a mail order, right? And the ones that are my customers here, I guess I can do that with them, but I usually don't. I don't know why. Maybe they're just used to coming here, you know. So anyway, well, actually the mail orders that come in are a little bit more of a restoration projects than what comes through the door. Now there are projects that come through the door that are pretty full restorations, but it seems like when people find me, they really have something that really needs, you know, to be restored. So that's why most of the videos you see are of mail order ones. I know I'm talking over my hammering, so what? I heard a comment already somebody make. Just kidding. Well, you always gotta relax. Don't you know my smart ass wit by now? So anyway, can't wait to show you guys that video. Now, the only thing is, it's like an hour and 20 minutes long, man. It's, I couldn't help it. I edited as much as I could, but there were so many details in that job. It just took a mind of its own. It's like it kept on growing and growing and growing, you know. So, but you'll find it pretty interesting. So hopefully that'll be like another week. I'll upload that. Okay. There's lots of projects on the, what is it, in the queue, on queue, whatever, something like that. So I can't wait to share that with you guys, and I will, slowly but surely. All right, let's continue. So this is my Landis L outsole stitcher. It stitches soles upside down. That's how it's stitched. Now there's two threads. One thread is for the welt, and the other one is for, well, the bottom of the shoe, but it's upside down. So we can use any color we want here, right? So I've got yellow in it now, so I'm going to keep it yellow. I like that. Also, the size of the stitches matters too, depending on how many holes you have. Not how many holes, but what size the holes are, you adjust it. This is a little bit of a larger hole, so we're going to make that a little bit smaller to accommodate that size. And keep our fingers crossed that's going to go into the same holes. Now in the previous video I showed you that we opened up a little channel so we can countersink the stitches. Look at that. It hit every original hole back in the shoe. Not bad at all. Alright, let's continue. Same with these heels. If it's a little bit off, man, it looks like, you know what? So it's got to be kind of like centered just right. Now there are different sizes for the heels, right? Well, there's different sizes for the soles too, but so basically I sanded, this is the shape that the heel block comes in. I sanded it straight because originally it was straight. No, I'm not going to cut my thumb. I mean, I have done it in the past, but that's why I learned not to do it. Oh, gotcha. Nothing happened. I've cut my hands plenty of times before. But you live and you learn. It's all good. All right, let's continue. So now we get to work on the heel lining. As you can see, it's very much worn out, torn up. Now this is just a template. You see, this is what we're going to cut the shape of the new leather to put in the back of the heel. But first we have to remove this damaged heel. Now in the past I have done it where you just put it right over on top of that worn out area, right? But when it's this bad, you've got to remove it because you don't want clumps in the back of the heel, because it's gonna hurt his foot, basically back of his heel, and we don't want that. I mean, anytime we're repairing, restoring, whatever you want to call it, you don't want to make it uncomfortable, obviously. I mean, if the customer's putting all that money into it and then you're putting your time into it, I mean, it doesn't make sense why it should be uncomfortable. So that's what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to make it more comfortable and make it last a long time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Man, this sucker is in there tight. Oof. Oof. Doesn't want to come out. There you go. Got a little bit of air pocket there. Alright, there we go. Okay. Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. What's up? What's up? The scenario. I like that. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to cut out some of those numbers in there. I really doubt the customer cares. If it was an issue, I would have re-stamped them or rewrote them, somehow put them back. Now we're going to gently cut the damaged heel lining out. We don't want to do any more damages, create more work that we don't want to do. It's kind of tricky to work in there. Almost out. And that's it. That's the worn out lining. So we'll cut a new piece. We'll thin the edges out so it doesn't rub the sides of his foot. Glue it in there, stitch it, cut it, put the heel liner, sock liner in, condition it up. I mean, the edges are all finished here. Just got to be nice and cleaned up and polished up, and she'll be ready to go. Let's continue. It's almost impossible to make it in exact same holes. Even though if you can't make it in the same holes, at least you would stitch right on that line so it looks like you went in the same holes. That makes sense? Now once we cut this off, we're done with the heel lining. Nice insoles inside, brand new. This machine is a cylinder arm machine. This is a Yamata. This is mainly set up for do bindings around the edges of purses and stuff like that. That's what this contraption is about. I just kind of pulled it out of the way. Now I've set this machine up for thin needle and thin thread for, you know, jobs like this. It's a size 46 thread, which is pretty thin. And that's it. All right, let's continue. Now, if you can see, there's still marks at the toe area. Need to remove those too. Now, some people don't use acetone on shell, which is understandable, depending on the situation. If I've got to resort to cleaning with acetone, I will. At the condition these are in, acetone's not going to hurt it. Now you can't wait. I mean, you can't wait. You can't forget to condition it afterwards. Okay? As tough as shell cordovan is, it does need some moisturizers. Just like anything else that's old and dry, especially something that's going through this much of the, you know, cleaning process. Alright, so we're going to let that dry. Let's see what it looks like. Alright, let's continue. So we put the Saphir Cordovan cream on there. This is number 19. See it? Fawn is the color. I didn't want to go too dark because we're trying to lighten that surface shade as much as we can. I mean, it's going to be impossible to bring it back to what it was. It's just not possible. All right, so we're going to let that sit for a few minutes and come back and buff it up. Let's continue. So lastly, we're going to put Venetian Cream on there. I like to use my fingers. Now, for all those people who are wondering about all the conditioners in the broguing, that's when I turn my compressor on. Bam! Why you say? Well, I'll show you. This is why. Let's continue. All right, welcome back. We are done with another project. Yes, we are done finally. I mean, it didn't turn out too bad. Could have been better. Yeah, I don't know what I had to work with. I would have liked to brought the color back to be a little bit lighter, but didn't happen. And we've got the heel lining. You guys see that? Get these laces out of the way. And new insoles inside. So I think it turned out pretty good. This was a $450 job. Now, shell cordovan is a little bit, I mean, it's not really hard to work with, it's just a little bit more time consuming. And at the stages these were in, they were pretty rough. Now, I don't have an exact picture of what they look like, but this was all black here of water damage on the sides, both sides. I thought I had a video or a picture of it. I can't seem to find the before, but it was at the beginning of the video. I showed you guys one was had already been cleaned, like with a bath, and the other one was conditioned. So I don't have one when it came in, you know, before I touched it. But take my word for it, it was pretty badly damaged around here, and I think that they're very much presentable now, and I hope the customer will better take care of his shoes, because these are beautiful shoes. Shell cordon should last you for a lifetime if you take care of it, and they're just very classy. I like them. I mean, I wear Aldens on my feet too. I've got the indie boots that I wear every day, so I like the Alden company. Now, do they take corners? Do they cut corners? I mean, everybody cuts corners, you know, but unfortunately, it is what it is. It does happen in some manufacturing. All right, once again, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you guys coming along. I've got more videos coming up. Just be patient. I'm trying to run the shop at the same time making videos. It's not an easy task, but I don't mind doing it all, because I like to show you guys what I do. And oh, if you like this video, hit that bell button so you can get more notifications when I upload a video. And please, if you guys have any questions, you know, about a certain repair, please email me. I mean, you guys keep on asking questions on the comment section about repair estimates. I can't do that without seeing what you have. So email me at beatos@yahoo.com, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. All right. Thank you for joining me again. Comment, like, share, whatever you want to do. All right. Take care. We'll see you again on the next project.